All right, let's react to the breaking news of the day in the NFL after the Titans have fired head coach Brian Callahan. My name is Harrison Graham. This is For Verts, where we talk about NFL and college football news, big stories, reaction in real time. Callahan out after a season and change, 4-19 as head coach, 1-5 this year, and the one they won was a complete fluke against the Arizona Cardinals. Just a total disaster. They had no choice. I had said it a couple times this year. He kind of felt like the offensive Matt Eberflus to me, where it's just like, what does he actually provide as a head coach? He didn't call plays in Cincinnati. He gave up play calling 3 weeks into the season this year. It just made no sense to keep him. And it made no sense to keep him this offseason. Another team fell for the rule that you should never break. If you are picking in the top 5 and drafting a quarterback, you should almost certainly reset at head coach. Now, there might be circumstantial situations where, you're a decent team, had a bunch of injuries in a bad year, like when the 49ers traded up to try to get Trey Lance. Like, that's different, which, by the way, didn't work. But if you're a team picking in the top 5 and you are not 100% sold on your head coach, you should be resetting at head coach, especially when you reset at GM. Like, you brought in Mike Morganzi from Kansas City. Why would you keep Brian Callahan? Well, it's unfair, Harrison, to just fire him after 1 year. What did he show in that 1 year that you were just handing him the keys to draft and develop this quarterback? No sense whatsoever. Teams got to stop doing it. I can see it now. Jets, Aaron Glenn, they're going to be like, well, we got to give him more time. Draft a quarterback next year, and then they're going to realize he stinks, talking about Glenn, and they're going to fire him midseason. Like, just don't do it. That's my warning to teams. It just does not work well. Because now what you have essentially is a wasted season for Cam Ward. Now, I will give the Titans credit pulling the plug this early. It's just like, this is not working at all. So that's better than letting this year run out, I suppose. But this year, by and large, will be a wasted season because they're going to have a new staff next year, a new playbook. How much do these reps really matter? They don't not matter. I mean, every rep is valuable, but just to use the Bears as an example, Ben Johnson, when he was asked how much does last year matter for Caleb, he said, honestly, not that much. Like, what we're asking him to do, there's not much experience from last year he can really lean on. So you wonder if that's going to be a similar situation with Cam Ward. And now all you can do is focus on the future if you're Tennessee. And this hire has to be all about Cam Ward. Now, it doesn't mean it has to be an offensive guy, although that would be my preference. But you've got to bring someone in here that believes in Cam Ward and that has a clear plan to develop Cam Ward. Because if not, then you need to hire someone else or you got to trade Cam Ward. And I don't think you're going to trade Cam Ward 1 year in when you're not going to get value of the number 1 pick in return. So that is kind of just where they are at this point in time. So I'm going to look ahead to a few names just that came to mind here. There's no external reporting at this point in time on who the Titans could be searching for. Obviously, a lot of time till the offseason gets here, but I got 5 names that I'm keeping my eye on for Tennessee early on in the process here. We'll take a look at that coming up here in just a second. But first, I want to tell you guys about today's show sponsor. That is Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. I had two nice lineups yesterday, 2 3-player lineups as your boy stays hot. I've hit 8 out of 9 lineups with Prize Picks. I'm up like $600. The way it works is simple. You pick more or less on 2 to 6-player lineups, and if you hit, you win money, sometimes up to 2,000 times your money on certain lineups with Prize Picks. That's right, $10 can turn into 20,000s. You can follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app and copy their lineups in one click as well, whether it's a friend, celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like. Hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks. For Monday Night Football, I got a 3-player lineup that I like. More than 21.5 rushing yards for Caleb Williams. More than half a passing touchdown for Jaden Daniels. That's a goblin pick. Those are a little easier to hit. And then more than 64.5 receiving yards for Rome Odunze. He's been off to a hot start this year. 3-player lineup that I like right there. Just an example of what a Prize Picks lineup can look like. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups. After you play your first $5 lineup, that is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, some early Titans head coach candidates. The name that comes most to mind, you've seen a lot of people speculate about this on social media already, is Mike McCarthy, who has already said he wants to get back into coaching next year. He's taking a year off. He's doing hits on McAfee every week and, spending time with family. But he's watching a lot of ball. I guarantee you he's studying these potential teams that could have vacancies here. And listen, Mike McCarthy knows quarterbacks. Big part of Aaron Rodgers' development. Big part of having Dak Prescott play at a high level for several years in Dallas. He was second in the MVP in his last healthy season with Dak 2 years ago, or I guess 3 seasons ago, 2 years ago. He has a wealth of experience. He won a Super Bowl with the Packers, won a bunch of division titles, been to the playoffs a bunch, 3 straight 12-win seasons in Dallas. Not a ton of playoff success in Dallas, but that resume for the Titans, you would be thrilled with that resume. He's still only in his early 60s. I think he's got 5-10 years left in him. He seems like an energetic guy still. I think if you could get Mike McCarthy on board with his connections to staff members he could hire, that seems like a pretty easy decision if Tennessee can get that done. So he would be my top choice. I'll throw another one I like here. Kevin Stefanski. Now, he's the current Browns head coach, so unless the Browns just let him go, you couldn't go get him, but they could fire him. He's 1-5 this year. It's kind of a circus with this QB situation. They trade Flacco, Dylan Gabriel. Doesn't seem like he's going to be the long-term answer. Him and Andrew Berry, is that the long-term pairing in Cleveland? Stefanski won a playoff game with the Browns, went to another one with Joe Flacco a couple of years ago. I think he's pretty good. I like his offenses. I know it hasn't been great the last couple of years, but when you don't have the quarterback, it's pretty difficult. Cam Ward's a pretty talented guy, so I'd be pretty interested in Stefanski if he got let go or if the Browns were willing to let him go. Not sure that'll be the case, though. All right, a couple of guys that Titans general manager Mike Borgonzi has connections to. That's current Chiefs offensive coordinator and former Bears head coach Matt Nagy, and then also former Chiefs quarterbacks coach and current Giants offensive coordinator who's getting some pretty good production out of Jackson Dart right now. That is Mike Kafka. Mike Borgonzi was with the Chiefs for 15 years. And Nagy has been there on multiple stints now. He was there, in the mid 2010s, went to the Bears, came back, and now and Kafka was there for a while as well as the quarterbacks coach. And he was like the shadow Mahomes developer. That rookie year when he was sitting behind Alex Smith, I think Kafka was the assistant QB coach at the time, or he was a quality control coach. I can't remember. I'd have to double check. But I remember reading a big article about how he just worked hand in hand with Mahomes that whole season. And so that intrigues me. If I am Mike Borgonzi, he would know more than anyone that relationship. And what does Cam Ward possess? Similar style of play and physical characteristics to Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes. I'm not making that comparison. But they play similarly, especially young Mahomes to this current version of Cam Ward. Cam Ward's not, a super developed pocket passer yet, but his ability to make plays on the move, we saw that a lot early on in Mahomes' career. So Nagy, Kafka, they've been around him a lot. Nagy, all things considered, had a decent run in Chicago compared to the other coaches they've had since Lovie Smith. Mike Kafka, this Giants offense has been pretty fun to watch the last few weeks. We'll see how it goes. If the Giants have a good season the rest of the way with Jackson Dart, I think Kafka is going to kind of go from, do the Giants blow this thing up, to a hot head coaching candidate kind of overnight. And he's had some interviews in recent years. So keep an eye on those two names for connections and also relevancy based on the quarterback Tennessee currently has. And then lastly, Joe Brady, who I'm not so sure about, but he was a hot name in the cycle last year. Obviously, the Bills' offense has been great with him, but is that just Josh Allen? I don't know. I do think Joe Brady's good. I also think the Bengals will be interested if they move on from Zach Taylor to reunite him with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. They were all at LSU together on that national championship team. Joe Brady was a big part of that offense on the coaching staff, so he would be a candidate there as well, certainly. But he would be kind of a second-tier guy I would look at in terms of offensive names to monitor over the next couple of months. But I like McCarthy the most, and then Stefanski's interesting because he's been a head coach for several years now. And then Nagy and Kafka, you got the Borgonzi connections and being around Patrick Mahomes for a while, a similar stylistic quarterback to who Cam Ward is as a young NFL player. All right, there you go. 5 names to keep an eye on. Certainly more will emerge over the next couple of months. And when there's big developments, we'll have it covered here on 4 Verts. Who should the Titans hire as their next head coach? If you could pick anyone, who would that be? Go ahead and let us know. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We will continue to pump out content here on a daily basis here on 4 Verts. My name is Harrison Graham. See you guys soon.